Crap. I hit the wrong button. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get it started here. Let's go ahead and begin the process. I want to welcome you guys to our Black Wealth Conversation. If you guys haven't joined before, the Black Wealth Conversation is basically where we get together and we talk about Black wealth. We talk church when it comes to building the future of our community, making our people better, making our people smarter. We have what is called Project 2070 in the Black Business School that you guys may or may not know about. And that is a project where we believe that by doing certain specific things right now in this generation, we can make sure that the Black community is the most financially literate, most financially intelligent group of people on the entire planet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you guys to put your questions in. You have to be inside the Zoom webinar for me to actually see your questions. Some of you are watching online. You're welcome to listen in, but those who are in the Black Business School who signed up for this Black Wealth Conversation, you're the only ones I'm going to actually be able to see. If you're on the outside and you want to participate in any of these and ask your questions directly, you can actually just go sign up at theblackbusinessschool.com. You can even sign up for a free membership, and that way you can come in and I'll be able to see your questions. But today I'm going to answer questions specifically from people that are inside the webinar. If you could also, guys, if you can make your questions short, to the point, one sentence, that actually helps a lot too. That way we can pull together our discussion and make it succinct, and everybody's questions can get answered and all this other stuff. So give me a second. Let me make sure we're set up and ready to go. And we will have some fun today. We will definitely have fun today. So give me a second here. All right. Okay. All right. So here's where I want to start the discussion. Give me a yes or no if you are aware, when it comes of the NBA's huge mistake with China. I wouldn't call it a mistake, but it's a real controversial situation. It's something that has made international headlines. And a lot of people are talking about it right now. And I think it's an important thing for you to follow. I know a lot of us don't follow international politics that closely. Some of us don't. A lot of you do, some of you don't. But I encourage you to follow this one because this is a big story that has big multi-billion-dollar implications and affects lots of Black athletes who are in the NBA. As you know, the NBA is pretty much, I don't know if I'd say run by the brothers, but without the brothers, you can't have an NBA. You can't have an NBA without Black men and Black people. We know that, right? And without the Black mamas who gave birth to these Black boys, you ain't gonna have nothing, right? So we know this, right? Has anybody seen this? Okay, I see 305 Monkey D says yeah. Jasmine says no. Duel says peace. Hello, Duel. How are you? Let me see. Let me look here in the chat. Let me see what you guys have to say about it. Okay. Haj says yes. I see Valerie says yes. And some of your names I can see in the chat. Some of them I can't. I'll try to spread this out so I can see your full name. Amos says hello. How you doing, Amos? Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. So let me break down some of what's going on with the NBA so you guys can understand what's going on. The NBA is in the middle of a crazy dilemma that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, at least not my worst enemy who's trying to make money. The NBA is in a situation where one of the executives, I believe his last name was Morey, one of the executives with the Houston Rockets, he wasn't with the league, he was with the Houston Rockets, got on Twitter and tweeted something that in most situations would be a relatively, benign kind of tweet. It wasn't like he said anything crazy. It wasn't that he said anything radical. He just made a very subtle remark that had huge implications that was really heard around the world. And basically what he did was he tweeted in favor of the protesters in Hong Kong. He tweeted basically that, if you support democracy, he didn't say all that, but it was sort of like, support democracy and back the protesters in Hong Kong. It was something to that effect. Well, China don't play that. Remember Homie the Clown when he said, homie, don't play that? Well, China don't play that. China's real serious when it comes to national sovereignty and people not interfering in their affairs. China is like the guy who's maybe he's beating on his wife and you want to call the police, or you say, stop beating on your wife. And he says, mind your own damn business. You need to go back to your house or we're going to have a problem, right? That's kind of how China operates. China is relative to the United States, considered to be a pretty authoritarian kind of regime. I'm not going to say overly oppressive, because there's a lot of oppression that happens around the world. You know, every time America tries to say like, oh, we're all about freedom, we're all about fairness, we're all about democracy, people immediately point to, this is what they talk about overseas. I know a lot of us get overly focused on what's happening domestically, but when you go overseas and people make the argument that, well, the United States, we're the moral leaders of the world, one of the first things people point out is, well, look at how you treat your black people, right? Look at how you treat your African Americans. And then you come back and you tell us why there's something wrong with our behavior, because look at what you do with black people, literally. In fact, there was a documentary I once watched. I always wanted to know the real story behind Hitler, Adolf Hitler. I didn't, not that I think he's a good guy or a bad guy or one way or the other. I know about the Holocaust. I thought it was terrible, but I had to understand what made all these people get behind this guy. Like, what was going on? There has to be more to the story. And even Jesse Owens said, oh yeah, there's a whole lot more to the story that they'll never tell you, because they don't want to tell you that whole story. Now, this was not a matter of glorifying anybody. You can make that decision on your own. But what I saw was in this documentary that's actually on YouTube. It's called Adolf Hitler, The Greatest Story Never Told. They were really objective. They pretty much gave you all I want are the facts. I don't need you to interpret the facts for me. I don't need you to spin it for me. I don't need you to tell me what my opinion needs to be. I just want to know the facts so I can then make my own opinion. So basically, they went through Hitler's life. Okay, at age 12, this happened. At age 18, he did this. At age 20, this happened, right? And so you got a great, interesting understanding of why the German people backed this guy in the first place. Basically, he was a little bit like their version of a Malcolm X, kind of, sort of. You know, after World War I, the German government, or Germany as a country, had been pretty much decimated and destroyed. Unemployment was incredibly high. Poverty was extremely high. Joblessness, there weren't opportunities anywhere. And Hitler kind of came along as a guy who said, you know, we're going to make this right. We're going to go back and get what's ours. We're going to fight for our people, right? So people got behind that, rah, rah, rah. I don't know if they knew about the whole extermination package coming, but basically they got behind him, not because they wanted to hurt other people, but because they felt that people were hurting them, right? Hurt people, hurt people. It is what it is. Well, the interesting thing about this documentary, though, was they got to the point where they talked about the Holocaust. And to their credit, they were very honest about what happened and about the number of Jews that were killed in the Holocaust. But then what they also said was, you know, again, I don't know if they were defending or not defending, but they said, look at America. Look at what America has done to black people. They went actually and they said, did you know that 5 American presidents were members of the Ku Klux Klan? How many of y'all knew that? How many of y'all knew that you had 5 American presidents that were members of the KKK? How many of y'all knew that? Raise your hand. Say yes or no in the chat if you knew that. Did you know that 5 American presidents were members of the KKK? Did they teach you that in public school? Was that the first thing that was on the curriculum when you started 8th grade? First thing they told you when they told you about how great George Washington was and how great the other slave masters were? Did they bring that up? Did they forget about? Did they forget to bring up that these men were members of organizations that wanted to exterminate, castrate, kill, and destroy black people? Anybody? Did you leave that off the agenda? Well, here's the point. So here's why I bring that up. When we talk about China, we know China has some authoritarian kinds of issues. I've been to China twice. I taught a class in China. My students in China were the best students I ever had. They were extremely disciplined. They listened to me and responded to me in a very effective way, which allowed me to be a better teacher for them. I didn't have the same issues when I taught in China that I have in the United States. It's like the difference between, you know, you go watch somebody's little badass kids, but then you go to somebody else's house and their kids are really well behaved and very polite and very friendly. Like, it was kind of like that. Like, that's how I felt as a teacher in China. I said, my God, if my American students sat down and listened for a minute, I could teach them some stuff. But instead, we're just into some other stuff, and we think that we can just yell at the professors and talk back and pee on them and all this other stuff. So here's the deal, right? So China is not the United States. They run things very differently over there. They have a different set of values over there. They have things like the Tiananmen Square massacre that happened in 1989, where they killed a bunch of students for standing up against the government. If you go to China and you look up that massacre on the internet, you will find 0 results. They literally just they erase it as if it never happened. Kind of what America does to black people in your whole history. You want to go find out about great black people from the past? that's been erased, right? You want to find out about Marcus Garvey? Your teacher don't know nothing about Marcus Garvey. They can tell you everything about George Washington. You want to find out about ancient Kemet and Kush and all the great inventions that were done in Africa? No, everything was done by the Greeks and the Romans and the white people, right? That's what you get fed. So it's kind of similar, right? So in a way, I think being Black in America helps you identify what it might be like to be Chinese in China. I don't know. Y'all can tell me what y'all think one way or the other. But here's the deal. So China has a different set of values, and the NBA has the interesting dilemma that they are very popular in China. When Yao Ming came to the United States and played basketball and did such a great job, he ended up becoming really popular in China. He made the NBA very popular in China. In fact, I think Yao Ming to this day is like the president of Chinese basketball or the director of basketball operations and authority in China. He has some important government post. So Yao Ming helped really resurrect basketball or elevate basketball in the country of China. Stephon Marbury was a washed up player in the United States. The Knicks didn't want him. Nobody wanted him. He was kind of like almost a little bit like an Antonio Brown. He goes over to China. He becomes a megastar. He wins 2-3 championships with the Beijing Ducks. He gets a statue like Michael Jordan had a statue. Just Stephon Marbury got a statue. I said Steph Curry. I meant to say Stephon Marbury. I hope I said that right. He's very, very big in China. Lots of other players in the United States are very big in China. What does that mean? It means lots of money's being made in China. Nike, who provides apparel for the NBA and for many Chinese teams. So the Chinese national team made $6.2 billion in China, which is a hell of a lot of money, which is a massive 21% increase in revenue from China from the year before. So growth in China is unbelievable. The Chinese market is that opportunity for growth that many American companies cannot find in the United States. Nike grew 21% in China. They grew about 7% in the United States. So when it comes to money being made from basketball related activities, or the entire economic system around basketball, the United States is not the biggest player on the block or the only player on the block. Why does that matter? Well, because the Chinese government is very involved in making sure that things happen a specific way when it comes to China. They're also gangster when it comes to letting you know when they're not happy with your actions or when you're interfering in their national affairs. They don't buy this freedom of speech stuff. The Americans claim to believe in freedom of speech. And let me tell you in a minute why that's just generally not true. So when Daryl Morey, the executive for the Houston Rockets, did that post where he did that tweet where he's basically said, support the protesters. It wasn't even a big tweet, wasn't a big deal. Not many people saw it. Who gives a damn? There's 1,000 other tweets just like it from people who have bigger accounts. The Chinese government immediately punished the Houston Rockets financially. They said, we're not going to stream your games. One of their major providers, one of their major partners said, we're not doing business with you until further notice. And then they went to the NBA. They went up to their boss's boss and said, we're going to cancel this. We're canceling that. All the companies that you're doing business with here are going to suspend operations. Do not play with us. You will not undermine what we're doing in Hong Kong. What are they doing in Hong Kong? Well, in Hong Kong, they're trying to basically pass what seems to be a simple law, but it isn't simple when you look at it. That basically says that if the Chinese government wants to extradite you for a crime from Hong Kong to China, they'll be allowed to do that. So the people in Hong Kong who've been under democratic rule for a very long time are not happy to be under Chinese rule. It's a very different system, a very different way of life. So the NBA stuck in this weird dilemma, right? On one hand, they're like, whoa, yo, just come on, man. Just we ain't got nothing to do it. You ain't seen nothing. Don't be snitching. China's making us money. They say you don't shit where you eat, right? We ain't got nothing to do with it. We ain't gonna talk about it, right? So the players are being very quiet. If you go ask LeBron James. So LeBron, what do you think about the Chinese situation? He'll be like, that was a good game today. I feel like I'm getting in better shape. I feel like, playing with Anthony Davis is going to make the Lakers a contender. No. But LeBron, what did you think about the situation with the tweet? Well, my ankle's feeling really good. And I feel like if I keep playing on it, I'm going to be ready to play. Steph Curry, tell us about what you think about the intense situation between the NBA and Hong Kong. Well, with the Warriors, we lost Kevin Durant, but we think we can win another championship, right? They're not going to address this issue, because what's happening is that they are stuck. The NBA as an organization is stuck in this weird lane between sort of feeling like, okay, on one hand, we're supposed to be standing up for democracy, but on the other hand, we got to take care of our bottom line. We got to stand up for that paper, right? Now, if you look at the reality, I want you guys to give me a one-word answer. Which do you think matters more to the NBA, democracy or the money? Which do you think is going to matter more, democracy or money, defending democracy or getting paid? Which one do you think is going to matter more? The money will usually win. And the Chinese government knows that. They know this. So they are basically punking them in front of the world. They're basically grabbing them by the throat, pip slapping them, and saying, I'm gonna do this in public so everybody knows that you are my bitch. That's what they're doing. They're basically, come on, what'd you say? What was that? What democracy? What was you say? What'd you say about democracy? Right? Wait, what was that? What freedom of what? Freedom, I'm gonna whoop your ass. That's what that is. That's China saying, like, they're doing it in public. So the NBA, if you listen to a lot of the press conferences, Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is doing press conferences saying, well, hey, what had happened was what you have to do is understand that it's very important that we defend. They're really towing a line that is really untowable. They're towing a line that's really untowable. They probably want to go back and strangle Daryl Morey for even making the tweet in the first place. It could become more of a firestorm because on the other hand, they've got Americans who are saying, come on, NBA, what you gonna do? Like, it's almost like a neighborhood fight where you think somebody's like the baddest kid on the block, and then another dude kind of comes and punks him, and you're just really thinking that the guy that you think is the bully, is the big guy, is really gonna fight back. Like, you're like, yeah, hit him back, go get him, Joe. And Joe's like, man, I got my mama called. It's 72 o'clock, and I gotta go because right. That's what it is, right? Because the NBA does not want to lose that money. The NBA is not going to lose that money because here's the deal. And I understand this, right? Remember, what is my PhD in? It is in finance. I repeat that because people think I'm some Negro talking on the internet. I want to make it 100% clear. I studied this stuff extensively for a very long time. So the thing I understand very well are capitalist business models. And basically, capitalism is just as big of a bully as China is. Capitalism doesn't have a lot of room for conflicting value systems that are going to impact the bottom line. Capitalism makes room for social justice as long as the social justice does not disrupt the money, or as long as everything's correlated. Capitalism is kind of like being in a car with a driver, and you say to the driver, hey, can I give my uncle a ride to the store? And and capitalism says, okay, where's your uncle going? Oh, he's going to the store across town back that way. Capitalism like, hell no, we got to get to the store. Or we got to get to our destination. We can't be, but then if you say capitalism, hey, can I let my auntie in the car then? Can you give her a ride? Well, where's your auntie going? Oh, she's going over to the east side, over to the church. Oh, okay, cool. We can drop your auntie off. That's cool. But either way, at the end of the day, we're going to go in the direction I want you to go because I'm driving this car, right? So capitalism drives the NBA's car. Why does the NBA get to pretend to be an organization that cares less about money than they care about social justice, right? The NBA has branded itself. And actually, Jason Whitlock, who does Fox Sports, he's a friend of mine, but we disagree on about at least probably 40% of everything, right? I don't agree with Whitlock on a lot of things, but I like the brother because he stands up for what he believes in. And I don't care if you disagree with me. That helps me learn. I like to hear a different point of view. So maybe I can explain to you why I think you're wrong or whatever. But Whitlock, one thing he mentioned I thought was really interesting is he talked about how the NBA brands itself as a social justice league. They brand themselves as, like we care about social justice more than we care about money. I'm here to just tell you that that's a bunch of BS, right? The social justice is fine as long as it's profitable to engage in social justice related activities. So when your primary customer base believes in LGBT issues, then you can make some more money by saying, yeah, we fight for LGBT too. Yeah, right? Or when they believe in, we want to combat domestic violence or something, which is good, right? It's a good thing, right? They're like, yeah, domestic violence is bad. Yeah, boo, domestic violence, right? But at the end of the day, they're like looking at the books to make sure that it fits. They're making sure that it fits. That's why when you look across the road and you see the NFL, and Colin Kaepernick wants to take a knee, and they're trying to figure out if they should support it or allow it or be okay with it. They're looking at the rednecks in the stands, the cowboy hat wearing dudes with big cowboy boots who are like, well, you gotta respect the flag. If you want my money there, brother, you gotta respect the flag. And the NFL's like, man, we can't be a part of none of this. Protesting the flag and black people and all that, like that's not our base isn't gonna like that, right? So all these so-called social justice initiatives really come down to who controls the purse strings and how those purse strings are controlled. A lot of times when I hear a corporation say, we care about all these other things more than money, I know that it's not true, because as a capitalist organization, in most cases, you have an expectation amongst your shareholders to go seek out money wherever you can get it, as long as it's ethically done. You can't just throw away billions of dollars because you want to do a pro-democracy tweet for Hong Kong. You can't, you're not allowed to do that. They will remove you from the system. So a lot of times companies will say that they believe in certain things. Almost the same way. You ever have a friend that says, let me know if you need anything? Or how many of you have ever said to a friend, yeah, if you need anything, let me know, right? And you kind of mean it, right? You kind of mean it, but you don't. You kind of mean it, but you don't. What does that mean? Well, if they need like, I don't know, like to borrow some toilet paper, then yeah, I got your back. You want to borrow $20? Sure. Okay, I got you, man. You my bro. I'll ride or die for you, right? But what if he comes in, he's like, man, I need a kidney. Can you give me a kidney? I need a kidney. And your wife is like, you better not give him no kidney. And you're like, yeah, but I told him if he needs anything, to let me know he needs a kidney. Well, he better be a really damn good friend before you give up that kidney. He better be a damn good friend. That's a battle where if you pick that battle, you better be sure that that's a battle you want to pick. Now, for my brother, I would fight Alicia over a kidney. If Alicia told me don't give Lawrence a kidney and Lawrence needed a kidney, I'd be like, I'm sorry, baby. Let the chips fall where they may, but my kidney will be out of my body on Thursday because I'll make sure my brother's good. But if some dude off the block, some guy down the street that I just known for a couple of years says I need a kidney, I'll be like, hey man, I really would like to give you that kidney, but Alicia ain't happy with it and I can't do it, right? So basically a lot of times it comes down to picking your battles, right? And that's what it is. The NBA picked the wrong battle, because protecting democracy and free speech is not as important to the NBA as it is as suppressing free speech is to China, right? The NBA does not care as much about defending democracy as China cares about crushing democracy, right? The NBA is playing a game of chicken with China, and they're not ready for that game. They don't want, as my friend Jason Whitlock said, they don't want that smoke. They do not want to play chicken with China, because China is like, we're serious. We're ready to go to war with you over this. We're ready to lose billions of dollars. We're ready to evict the entire NBA out of China forever over this issue. Are you ready to go equally hard with us? And they're like, no, ball. We ain't. No, we good. We didn't mean it. We didn't mean that free speech stuff. That's just what we say. That's just what we say in America. We need our money. We really a bunch of financial hoes. Like we need our dollars, man. So just pretend like we didn't tweet it. Pretend like, because the tweet, they immediately deleted the tweet. This is what's crazy. The tweet wasn't up there that long. They took it down. I don't even know how many people he's got following him. He's probably got 10,000 Twitter followers. Not even enough to make a difference. But the fact that they took the tweet down, it wasn't a big deal, and China came down so hard, really speaks a lot to, there are so many economic lessons to grab from this. It speaks to what happens when you forget, when you go into business. You guys are going to run into this. How many of you have your own business or plan to start your own business? Give me a yes or no if you plan to start your own business one day, or if you have a business. If you are a business owner, one of the most important things you must always understand is that all money ain't good money. You must understand that. And what you got to do before you become a business owner is you must draw the line. You must make a decision early. Do it now before you're making $10 million decisions, because at that point, everything's going to be real cloudy, real blurry. Anything can be justified. Taking money from anybody can be justified. So you must know who you are so that you can recenter yourself and say, is this really good money or is this not good money? When we created, the Black Business School and everything that we do, we said, what are our values? Who are we? What do we represent? And so we wrote down on a piece of paper what we call the Black Core of Three. This is what I believe in to the day. I might put this on my tombstone, because this is what I believe in so deeply. We believe Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. Those are the three things we believe in. So whenever I make a hard decision and somebody comes along, because I mean, the bigger I get, the more stuff I do, the more people I reach, the more I hear from different people that want to do business with me. And so when I'm not sure, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I want to take the money, but gosh, I feel kind of like a hoe. I can't do this. You know what I do? I go back to the Black core of three and I say, who are you, Boyce? Who did you decide that you were going to be back when you didn't have any money and didn't have any power? Let's go back to the basics and figure out who that guy is and figure out what he would say about this particular business deal, because right now your vision is a little bit cloudy. So figure out who you are and just know, there's going to be some situations. If you have ethics and you believe in certain core values, you're going to have to turn away from money. Now, I'm not saying the NBA should have turned away from Chinese money, but what the NBA is learning and what a lot of other business owners are learning from watching this interaction between the NBA and China is that just because the Chinese government loves basketball, maybe that doesn't mean you have to be the one serving them basketball. Maybe you could say, y'all got great players over there. Y'all do your thing. We don't want that smoke. We don't want to be a part of all of that. But the reason I think it's okay for them to be a part of that is because I really don't believe that America is a democracy anyway. I don't believe that America really believes that deeply in freedom of speech, to be honest with you, especially the liberals in America. The liberals in America, the reason I say this is because when I'm going to college campuses and I'm seeing situations where speakers are invited to campus and then uninvited because people believe they don't have a right to talk, I'm like, wait, I thought y'all believed in freedom of speech. This isn't freedom of speech. And their excuses, well, it's hate speech. Well, what do you mean? What, because somebody said marriage is between one man and one woman, that means they hate everybody and they don't have a right to talk? Really? That's hate speech now? Is that your little loophole for when you want to be democratic and when you don't, right? Like seriously, that's what, just like with slavery, like we claim that slavery is outlawed, but we have the loophole called the 13th Amendment, which says, well, slavery is outlawed unless we label you as a criminal. Now, if we label you as a criminal, then we can make you a slave. We can do whatever we want. We can pee on you like R. Kelly and kill your whole family and do whatever we want to do, lock you up forever with a bunch of rapists and killers and gangsters and whatever. Like, but as long as you do what we say, as long as you're saying what we want to hear, then yeah, go ahead. Free speech for everybody. Go ahead, free speech for everybody. Ain't no free speech in America. Ain't no free speech in America. Get that through your head right now. Please my mama used to say, get that through your thick head. So I'm just saying that out of love, the same way my mama loved me, I love y'all enough to say, get that through your thick head right now, that there ain't no free speech in America, especially if you broken Black. If you broken Black, you don't have free speech. You can't go to your job and say what you want to say. You go to your job and you say Black Lives Matter, you'll be fired on your day off. You cannot start a business and do business and take most of your money from somebody who has core values that differ from your own. So what's going to probably happen here is exactly what I'm seeing unfold. What I'm seeing unfold right here is this. The NBA is going to have a public posture that says, yes, of course we believe in freedom of speech. Of course we believe in individual liberties, right? Of course we defend his right to say what he wanted to say. We don't have a problem with him tweeting. We don't have a problem with what he tweeted. It's his right, blah, blah, blah. But secretly they're going to say, you better not say that shit no more. You better be quiet, boy. You better shut. Your mama used to be, you better be quiet, don't you shit, right? Like that's what they're going to do to him. That's what they're doing to all the players, because at the end of the day, they're asking themselves, okay, yeah, we kind of support the democracy thing, but is that really worth $20 billion? Nah, it ain't worth that to us. Maybe there's other issues. Maybe there are other battles that they would take on with China, but that's not one of them. And the thing about the Chinese government, another lesson you can learn is from the flip side of that. The Chinese economic response was forceful and clear and powerful, right? It was very unified. They really just came down hard and swift, and they used their money like they literally dropped a financial version of a nuclear warhead right on the NBA. And they said, if you mess with us again, just keep testing us, test us again. Now, if they had just said, well, we're very unhappy with your statement and we would like for you to apologize, the NBA would be like, we ain't apologizing for nothing. What, man, y'all want to take it there, right? No, the Chinese didn't really talk. The Chinese were like, okay, we're not happy with what you did, so we're going to back up our words with action. See, that's one thing I think Black people can learn about powernomics. Sometimes you really ain't got to do a lot of talking, right? A lot of times we'll do this much talking and this much action. Really, you need to do the other opposite. You need to do this much talking and this much action. right? So I come in and I say, you made me mad. I'm about to jack you up. And then I take a sledgehammer and slam it across your face. So I've said one sentence, but I gave you about, 10 years worth of damage because I'm letting you know that I'm not playing with you. I'm not going to threaten you. I'm not going to, harass you. I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to send innuendos. I'm not going to lie or yell and scream and complain about you for 6 months before I do anything. No, I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, hello, Bob. I didn't like what you said that day. Whop. Like, not in a physical sense, not in a physical sense. We're not condoning violence here. No, don't go get violent with nobody. But the best speeches in history have been given with action. The most effective speeches ever have been given with action. You cannot tweet and yap your way to liberation or to true power. Power must be represented through action. So as a community, let's pay attention to that. Let's pay attention to that. Whenever there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, let's ask ourselves, is there action? Now, by the way, I don't know, I think Chanel is here from the business school, from the Black Business School. And one of the things I wanted to offer you guys that are here, and I'm gonna start answering some of your questions, but I had to address this MBA thing because I thought it was so profound, so interesting. It was like a finance class in motion. It was so great to watch. I'm going to share with you guys a link. Chanel can actually help you guys if you guys want to learn, entrepreneurship and actually go to some of the Q&As with attorney Nicole Compton, who's a startup specialist. You can actually, while you're here today, you can get 40% off Black Money 103, which is our entrepreneurship program. You can get a degree from the Black Business School, certificate of achievement, as well as learn everything you want to know about starting your business. Nicole is an attorney that has about 15 to 20 years of experience, and she is somebody that can help you out. So what I did was I gave you guys a coupon code in the chat for 40% off. And those of you who didn't get the code, if you go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com, you can actually ask Chanel to give you the 40% off code, and she can give you 40% off on your program. This is only good for today. It's only good for people that are here during this conversation. Also, don't forget, I'll be in New York next week, October 27th, not next week, but right after the marathon. I do the marathon on my first marathon ever, actually, on the I think it's the 13th or something like that. It's a few days from it. It's this Sunday, whatever date that is. And after that, I'm going to come to New York. I'm going to do a day-long investing seminar. It's going to be in a hotel in New York. You guys are going to love it. So if you want to fly to New York, I think that you should, because I can change your life. If you give me 8 hours to do it, I can change your life. I can change the trajectory of your family for the next 200 years because I'm good at this. This is what I do. This is what I am. I spent 100,000 hours doing this stuff, so I'm pretty good at it. All right, so let me jump in and let me check out some of your questions right quick. Put them in the Q&A section if you're inside the Zoom. If you're not in the Zoom and I don't see your question, you can come to these Black Wealth conversations by signing up at theblackbusinessschool.com. You can just feel free to get a free membership if you want to, and you can go to, you can join in. I send the email out to the students and let them know when we do these conversations. So is it better, Amos says, is it better to invest in an index REIT, real estate investment trust, or an individual REIT, real estate investment trust? I don't know if it's necessarily a matter of it being better. I think it's a matter of knowing the difference between the two. I'm a fan of index REITs, but I don't think it's necessarily a matter of one being better than the other, because it's almost like asking, is it better to invest in an individual stock or in an index? It depends on what you're trying to accomplish, because all an index becomes is a composite of individual assets, right? So it's like asking, is it better to eat a tomato or eat a whole soup with a bunch of vegetables in it? Well, it depends. I mean, if you like vegetable soup and you like the vegetables that are in the soup, then it's better to eat the whole soup. But if you don't like the vegetables that are in the soup, it's better to take the tomato, add it to some other vegetables that you do like, and form a different soup. My stash dividends have increased in size by more than 100 times in recent weeks. Why? Is it because of recent volatility in the stock market? Says Leo. I don't know why your stash dividends have increased that much. It may be the case that your companies that you own just happen to be paying dividends right now, which is good for you. But dividends aren't really necessarily a godsend when it comes to investing. Like a lot of my stocks, I don't know if they pay dividends or not. I don't care, because the thing is, if the company's growing, you're going to get your money regardless, right? You get your return on an investment through either dividends, where they write you a check, or capital gains, where the value of your asset goes up. And if you want that cash, you can just sell the asset and you get the gains that way. So ultimately, whether you want dividends might come down to what tax bracket you're in, how old you are, how much risk you want in your portfolio, things like that. Actually, we have a great stock market investing program that's very, very popular. Once you go through this program, you'll know everything you need to know about stock market investing, all that. You don't have to go spend $100,000 going to college to learn this. Go through our program. We have PhDs, we have experts. We can teach you 10 times more. So here's another code you guys can use. This is from Jessica. Jessica's code gives you 40% off because you guys are in this chat. So if you'd like to go join the Black Stock Market program, use that code from Jessica, which gives you 40% off. So I'll give you guys this code right here. All right. So, and if you don't have the code, if I didn't have a chance to put, like, I can't put it on Instagram, but if you guys don't have the code, just go to theblackbusinessschool.com and just tell them you'd like to get the 40% off offer, and they'll take care of you. We have people that are waiting on the line to talk to you about your plans, everything you want to know. Anonymous says, just started investing in stocks and set up an account for my kids as a college fund. Was this a good strategy, or should it have been a regular account? I don't like college funds that much because I think college costs too damn much. I think that if I had it my way, about 40% of the people who go to college would not go to college. They would all get training, they would all get education, but 40% of all people that go to college would not go to college. Now, why would I say that? Why? That sounds ridiculous. Boyce, you are a college professor. Why would you sound like you're advocating for people not to go to college? Well, it's the same reason that people think that I advocate for people not to vote. If you follow me, you'll know I've never told Black people not to vote. I've just told Black people to make the decision that works best for you and not let anybody talk you out of it, including me, right? So if voting makes sense for you, you should do it. If it doesn't make sense for you, then don't do it. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. The biggest key to failure in this world is to let other people live your life for you. You are not a puppet. You are not some character at the end of a joystick that they can control. You need to control that joystick and decide what your steps are going to be. So when it comes to college, the reason I say that 40% of all the people that go to college should never have gone in the first place is this. Out of every 100 Black students that goes to college, 58 of the 100 students do not graduate. Let me make sure I get the stats right. I don't say it wrong. 58, the majority of that 100 students do not get a degree. Out of the students that do graduate, and the ones that get student loans, half of those students default on their student loans. They never repay their student loans because they're too high, they can't afford to pay them. Why? Well, because they went to a school that was overpriced and they picked a major that was underpaid. They went to some school that charged them an insane amount of money for tuition, and they just signed the papers because they make the money really easy to get. And just the same way a drug dealer makes it very easy for you to get your first hit of crack. If you are a crackhead, or if you've ever been a crackhead, or if you've ever known a crackhead, go survey any crackhead you know, and I bet you they'll tell you that their first hit of crack was free. They didn't have to go up and pay money to get the first hit of crack. The dealer handed it to them because they knew that once they reel them in, they could get their money later on down the line. Well, the same thing is true with the student loans. Money becomes the financial crack. They tell the students, they tell this 18-year-old that, oh, well, just sign on the dotted line and then the parties can begin. 4 years of partying and step shows and barking and sneezing and whatever the hell people do on college campuses and in the step shows and all that, and the party and all that. And then you get done and then the party's over and you sober up and you're like, oh my God, I have $120,000 in debt and I have a degree in, I don't know, like it might be like general studies or something. My God, like some of these poor football players and stuff, they go to school, the coaches don't care nothing about them learning, don't even care that some players can't even read. And you got this degree that can't get you a job to make much more money than you would have made if you'd actually learned a real trade and a real skill, but you've got a massive amount of debt. So you're 22 years old and you already have a mortgage and you ain't even got a house. It's like being married and you ain't even got a wife. Like that's terrible, right? So basically, if I had it my way, I would make sure everybody got trained, but only 40% of them would get trained on a college campus. So if you ask me what I'm doing in my family, the best advice I would give, I'm going to call it advice because I'm not here to give financial advice. I'm here to give perspective. I'm here to give you information so you can give yourself advice. I want you to learn so you can be your own best leader. I'm an advisor. That's what I am, but not even an advisor in the sense of telling you what you need to do. But here's what I'm doing. When it comes to my niece, my beautiful niece, I've shown you guys her. She's so pretty. I got to find a good picture of her. She's the cutest thing ever. I basically told my brother, I don't want to create a college fund for her. I'm not going to put together a bunch of money that I'm going to save up, $500,000 or something, whatever ungodly amount of money it costs to go to college by the time she's 18, just so I can go give it away to some big white university. We're not doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure she's a millionaire by the time she's 27, 28 years old. And along the way, we're going to find efficient ways for her to learn what she needs to know to do what she needs to do. Oh, you want to be a dancer or an actress? You want to be the next Tyler Perry? Cool. Let's go get you some acting classes. Let's go send you to some program that's going to teach you how to do theater or how to shoot a movie or whatever you want to do. And Uncle Boyce is going to be one of your first financiers who's going to finance your plays and your films. And we're all going to make money together as a family. Right? Oh, you want to be or you want to be an entrepreneur? Okay, great. Let's find you a really good entrepreneurship program and get you in it. That's not going to cost a ton of money, where you're going to learn from people that can really give you real skill. College professors aren't always those people, because most college professors have never run a business and many of them have never worked for a business. So instead, I'm going to get you into a place that won't cost you a ton of money, that will give you real skill, get you out there on the field, and then we're going to give you the most important thing that you're going to need as an entrepreneur, which is capital. The most important thing an entrepreneur needs is not skill, it is capital. Because without capital, you can't do nothing. It's like a football player doesn't, what does a football player need more than anything? Well, I mean, sure, they need skill, they need to lift weights, they need to be in shape, but most importantly, they need a ball, they need pads, they need a field to play on, right? So basically with her, I'm going to give her the field to play on, and then I'm going to say, play whatever sport you want to play, because at that point you're a player and you're not being played, you're a boss, you're not being bossed around. So that's the goal. My goal is to build a boss. That's what I want to do with the children in my family, as I want to build them into bosses, meaning that you're a boss of your life, you make your own decisions, and you can move forward. And it's very difficult to do that when somebody else is controlling your outcomes. Okay, so that's the goal. All right, so let me keep going. Let's see here. Next question. On average, how much should be invested each month if planning on leaving it in the account for at least 15 years? It depends on what your goal is and how far you want to go. I'm a big believer in doing what you can. People tithe to the pastor. Why not tithe to your future? Your future self needs tithing. Your future self needs financial support. So why not tithe to you? Why not take that 10, 15% that you were going to give to the pastor, give the pastor some money too, if that's what you believe. The pastor needs to pay the bills, and it's cool. The pastor's serving you. If they make you happy, give them a little something. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But tithe to yourself too, tithe to future generations, tithe for the afterlife. I'm not talking about the afterlife in the Bible. I'm talking about the real afterlife. The real afterlife is the life that is going to happen after you're gone. Once you're gone, the people that you leave behind are going to be affected by what you chose to do and chose not to do. I had a conversation last week with my auntie, who was married to my Uncle Charles. My Uncle Charles died quickly and suddenly in a car crash last November. Broke my heart, made me very sad. My Uncle Charles, I remember having a conversation with him about 10 years ago where he was kind of down. He was a little bit down because, a couple things that happened that kind of threw his credit off. I don't know if there was a bankruptcy or something, some sort of financial setback happened. I don't remember all the details, but I remember it was a sad day at Applebee's that day. But you know what? I remember talking to him and saying, come on, Uncle Charles, you can do this. Like you're smart. Like you can rebuild. And he said, yeah, but I'm almost 50 years old, and it's kind of tough to think about rebuilding at 50 years old. I said, yeah, but that's all you got. Being 50 means you ain't 60. So I think you can still do it. Baby steps, take baby steps. So check this out. So proud of my Uncle Charles. A bad black man. Anyway, so years later, he has the unfortunate event that takes place is on the day of his 45th wedding anniversary. He calls his wife and says, I'll be home in 30 minutes. He does not make it home. He hits a patch of ice, slides over into the other lane, or I don't know if he slid in the other lane. I think the other car slid in the other. Somebody was in the wrong lane. I don't know if it was him, because I think it was the other person's fault. And he hits another car and he dies. Right? Very sad, very amazing. It was actually extraordinarily coincidental that he died that day, because it was his anniversary, his wife's birthday, his sister's birthday was the same week, and his mother's birthday was that week too. I mean, just all this stuff happening at the same time. Very, very sad. But here's the triumphant part of this. So I'm talking to my Aunt Janice, and she says, I was so amazed at what kind of preparations he made for us after he was gone. It was so hard for me to move on without him. And I couldn't believe that he had thought about us so much when he was preparing for any eventuality. She said he didn't have just one life insurance policy; he had 2 or 3. And the amount, she thought that they'd have this much, and they had that much. And so while the grieving was still very painful, grieving is a lot more painful when you leave your relatives both tragedy and bills. When you leave them depression and bills, that makes me question whether you loved your loved ones at all, right? So if you don't have life insurance in place right now, I need you to get on code and get you some life insurance. How many of you have life insurance right now that you feel will take care of the people that you love if something were to happen to you? How many of you? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you have life insurance. If you don't, that's okay. If you don't, that's okay. We can get it. We can get it right. But I want to ask those of you who've made preparations for your loved ones to say something in the chat so that others can see this. If the answer is no, you can either say no or you can say nothing. This is not to shame you. I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm not here to make you feel bad. All I'm here to do, in fact, I'm not here to humiliate you at all. In fact, I will humiliate myself. In the same way, there's only one time I got on one knee in public, and that was to ask a beautiful black woman to marry me. Now I will get, if my knees didn't hurt so much, I'd get on my knees one more time to beg you, I'm begging you to think about the people you love. Think about those children. I need you to think about that woman that loves you. I need you to think about that man who's got your back. I need you to think about all the people in your family that depend on you, and just make sure that they are good. Get you some damn life insurance. And then also, if you want to go further than that, make sure everybody should have a will. A will just kind of makes things clean. It makes for a clean transition so you can pass everything on without all the crazy complications, because Prince didn't make a will, and he's going to donate over $100 million to white people by the time he's done. When you don't make preparations, other people are prepared for the financial slaughter. Other people are prepared to financially drain your entire family. So don't let that happen to your loved ones. That's just very important. All right, so let me keep going. So do me a favor, guys. Actually, let me share with you all again. Some of you are asking for these links again to get 40% off in our entrepreneurship program. We have a very good entrepreneurship program, and also a very good program on how to invest in the stock market. We're going to do an entrepreneurship Q&A with attorney Nicole Compton very soon. Some of you saw her at the All Black National Convention, so you know how bad this sister is and how good she is at what she does. She's better than 99% of all college professors, because she's not just a lawyer and an MBA, but she's got extensive experience and can answer so many questions about how to get your business going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share these links with you again in the chat for Jessica, and also for these are Chanel. This is Chanel's code, and where you can get 40% off for the entrepreneurship program, and Jessica's code where you can get 40% off the stock market program. So I'm gonna just copy them both in the chat for you all right now. So feel free to use that and do what you wish with it. So I'm gonna move to the next question. So just so you know, I'm answering questions inside the Zoom. If you want to join the Zoom for the next Black Wealth conversation, all you got to do is go to theblackbusinessschool.com and do the free membership. At least start off with the free membership. We'll teach you more for free than most colleges will teach you for $40,000, or $100,000. Like, literally, we're that good at what we do. But you got to try us out. If that, I mean, that's the thing. That's one thing that's kind of crazy, is that when you're Black, like, people would believe me if I was a rapper or if I was a basketball player. They'd believe I'm good at what I do. But because we're doing something that's not stereotypical, we're actually being smart. There are some people who say, "Oh, well, you're Black. Black people aren't the smart ones. We're supposed to go give our money to some white guy who acts like he's smart." Well, I'm just here to tell you that I've worked around those people. I've been on those campuses, and I've done really well. I was the only African American on earth to get a PhD in finance during the year 2002, and I can just tell you that in some cases they're doing right by you, but in other cases they're doing wrong by you. That's why you have all those student loans. That's why you don't feel like you got what you needed. That's why many of you dealt with racism on the campus, because there's a difference between teaching in love versus teaching because you're just trying to get money out of somebody. Okay, so feel free to go check it out. I hope you guys will give us a try, and let us know how we can do better, because we're really trying to build a university. I talk about it all the time, so if I talk about it, I want to be about it, and that's what we're trying to do right now. So we can really use you guys' help. And we also have a Black Business School for Children at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So that's the website, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, or you can also go to theblackbusinessschool.com. You can talk to our team. They're right there waiting to talk to you. If you go there, and you can talk to them right now. All right, so let's see. I want to start a bookkeeping business in order to have more flexibility in homeschooling my kids and creating generational wealth. They are 17 months, but I'm putting it on hold to study for the CPA exam. Let's see, should I be a CPA or an enrolled agent? I think you can't go wrong either way, but I do think that becoming an enrolled agent, if you're talking about doing taxes, stuff like that, I think that there's a lot of money in that. I know that somebody reached out to me about maybe owning a company that does taxes for people. And given that everybody does taxes, that's just such a great cash cow for so many people. I'm a big fan of that. But the CPA exam is difficult, but if that's what you enjoy doing, I know there's plenty of work out there in that field. Like, that's a sturdy field. Like, if you're good at what you do and you're solid with it, I think I think being a CPA is an awesome career choice. How old for the children? Your children for the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, we have people actually that put their kids through this stuff when they're 2 years old. But two is not the age where they're going to understand everything. But I understand the strategy of using the flashcards or the workbooks that we created for Black children, using that with your younger children, because what you're doing is you're planting things in their subconscious mind. Like, so for example, if I said to you, when's the first time you met your mother? You don't remember the first time you met your mother, but you just know one day you were aware of your surroundings and your mother was just there. You knew her, but you may not have known like when you actually met her first, right? So I want finance and economics. I want economic intelligence to be something that our children know so well that they won't even be able to tell you when's the first time they actually learned about wealth and money, right? So I understand why parents, are working with their children with the flashcards at the age of 2 and the workbooks and everything else. More realistically, 6, 7 is good. Our 9-year-old, I started talking to her about financial stuff when she was about 7, and she likes it. And we have little casual conversations about money. Every time money comes up, I use that as an opportunity to teach. And then what I found is that they were all just sort of veering toward entrepreneurship. Now, these are not my biological kids. These are my stepchildren, but they see me down here every day. They see the Black Business School flag. They see what I'm all about. They understand I'm about Blackness and economic intelligence. And that's sort of what they pick up vicariously, most importantly, not because I know my stuff. Like, I know my stuff and I can teach them, but I think that they are more likely to listen because I also try to make it a point to lead with love. That the reason I'm telling you these things is because I care about you. I'm also giving you a choice. If you're not interested, then that's okay. I'm not going to beat you up for it. I'm not going to make fun of you. But when I see you struggle, I might say, well, you may want to try it that way, but just me talking, right? And next thing you know, they're doing it that way because everybody wants to win. All kids want to win. And I think when they see you winning and they see you adjusting your life and making certain moves, they're going to follow suit. Okay. So the Black Business School we have for children, which is that's our big strategic play that's going to put Black people ahead. I'm not into inclusion. I'm not into diversity. I'm not into equality. I'm not into any of that because I don't believe in those concepts. I don't believe in full inclusion in America. It's not going to happen because different racial groups are kind of like oil and water. Asian people take care of Asian people. Latino people take care of Latino people. White people take care of white people. Black people think everybody else is going to take care of them. That ain't going to work. You can't go around here looking for a home when everybody's looking at you like you crazy because you ain't got no place to live. They're going to laugh at you. You ever have like a kid that really like takes it to heart? Like you say, well, come by anytime. And they really are coming by your house every day, eating at your house. And they do that every single day. And then eventually one day you're like, don't you got a mama? Don't you got a place to go? Like that's kind of the way I think people look at Black people. So one of the things I believe in is I believe in Black competition. I believe that Black excellence means us being so excellent that we compete with the rest of the world, that we actually start winning. And the way you win is you start doing things other people aren't doing. So we've got secret weapons. One of our secret weapons is what I refer to as Project 2070. I believe we should send all of our children to business school. I believe that every child who knows how to throw a football or dribble a basketball or rap or sing or dance or perform or do anything should be better at business than they are at any of those other things, right? So I believe that if we send our children to business school early, trying to get them introduced to concepts, kind of have them go through some workbooks and a couple flashcards or whatever, just learn some basic ideas, get some basic cultural principles in place at an early age, what you're going to see is these children are going to rise up way above everybody else. These kids are going to do things other people can't do. They're going to know things when they're 18 that other people won't know till they're 40, and they're going to take over the game. Because Black people, I really think that there's something special in the melanin that says once we figure it out, and once we know something is out there for us and we get that hunger, we just really can't be stopped. So the greatest Black people are the greatest people on earth, right? But the worst Black people can be the worst people on earth, right? So ultimately, I don't know if everybody is going to figure out the right things to do, but I do know that there's going to be a pocket of Black people who are just going to be basically unstoppable. And I've thought about it extensively. Thousands of hours I spent on this, solving this specific problem. And I believe that that's the solution. So if you want your children to really win, send them to business school early, get them exposed to the basic ideas, create a culture of ownership, of Black power, of intelligence, of hard work, as well as ownership, entrepreneurship, and investment, delayed gratification. That's all investment is delayed gratification. Your kid's going to soar to a level that you can't even imagine. But it's up to you to decide if that's what you want to do. The power is in your hands. So if you want to go check out our Black Business School for Children, you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Chanel and Jessica, I believe, are on the platform. They can talk to you whenever you come through, and just tell them that I said to give you a discount on the program, so so it can fit into your budget. It's not free. There is an investment required, but it's not, it's nothing compared to what these other programs charge. We don't want to break you. But we do need you guys to invest in us the way you invest in other people's stuff, right? So that's because we have real people that we have to pay. But outside of that, we just want you to win. So check that out. And also, we have financial flashcards or financial workbooks for children that we invented specifically for Black children. So you can go to financialflashcards.com to check those out, or financialworkbooks.com. So if you want to have a complete package, a complete business school package in your house for your children, what you can do is this. You get the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, which covers money, entrepreneurship, how to invest in the stock market and real estate, as well. Let's see, money, investing, the stock market, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Those 5 areas. There's different modules they can go through. There's also self-study exams they can take to make sure they know the material. Then when they're done, they're eligible to pick up their certificate. So you can automatically print out your certificate, put it up on their wall, and say, congratulations, little Billy, look at you, you're a wealth builder, you're so smart. Like, you say these kinds of empowering words to the kids, and the kids gonna be like, yeah, I'm smart, I'm a businessman, right? Get him a little suit, and he carries a little briefcase. He'll start internalizing that, and you'll start seeing modifications in his behavior. Even the worst boys I've seen go through that, where because they're bored with these white ladies at public schools who are yelling at them for every little thing, right? They want to be bosses. They like having freedom. Every living thing wants to be free. So anyway, so if you want a complete package, get the digital side, which is the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Then go check out the workbooks, which are at financialworkbooks.com. I don't have any with me, but financialworkbooks.com. If you go there, you can get the workbooks. We cover every grade band. These were created by Black educators for Black children, not for anybody else. And then we also have flashcards, which you can check out at financialflashcards.com, which allow you to do quick hit learning, right? The thing about learning a topic, learning how to do something, is that you don't have to know everything in extreme detail. Usually basic things, like most of what you need to know to be really financially sound, I could actually put that on one sheet of paper. And if you memorize that one sheet of paper, you would be in a better position than 95% of all Americans. And if you executed half of the things on that sheet of paper, you have a very good shot at passing away in the 1%. When you get old, you will grow old among the wealthy, not among the poor. So this is not rocket science. This is not hard to do. What is hard to do is overcoming bad habits and bad propaganda. Those are the 2 things that are hard to do. Bad habits throw us off, right? Propaganda leads us to believe that we can't do it. If somebody convinces you that you can't do something, then you're never going to try, which is pretty much going to kill the effort, altogether. So anyway, let me keep going. Let me answer some more of your questions here. So let's see here. Let's see. Shimon says, knowing Dr. Anderson's age and condition, is it possible for you to work with him and get an updated Powernomics supplementary guide with updated market trends, industries, and emerging markets? No, because Dr. Anderson and his team are very proprietary about Powernomics, and I have to respect that by not interfering with what they've got going on. So that's just the reality of it. But I love Dr. Anderson. I'm glad that he's here. Valerie James says, I do not see the code in the chat. Chanel and Jessica, if you have your code, could you put your code in the chat and put it in the Facebook chat as well, or the YouTube chat? I thought there was in the, it's right there in the chat. I see it right here, but maybe you guys can't see it. I assume that you can. Let me know if you're able to see the code in the chat. That's Jessica's code, where you can get 40% off the stock market class, and also Chanel's code. I will give you guys that too. Let me know if you see it. Just give me a yes if you see the code in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there. And okay, Kay Crawford says, no, I don't see it. Interesting. You know what? I know what's going on. Okay, let me change something here. Here we go. Let me try this again. Okay, here we go. That's the code for Chanel. Thanks for telling me, because actually now I see what happened. Yeah, Chanel and Jessica, if you're in the chat, make sure everybody gets your code, because I think that I might have actually been putting stuff in that was going to panelists, but not to the attendees. There you go. There's another code for you guys. So right now, if you go to the Black Business School, you can get 40% off. If you're watching and you don't see the code, that's okay. Just go to theblackbusinessschool.com. Tell them to give you the 40% off discount that we talked about today. Charles Spearman, what do you think of someone to become a financial planner? Is it a good career choice? Yeah, if that's what you enjoy doing, just make sure that it fits your personality. You may want to take a personality test to see what you enjoy and where where your mindset is. You don't have to agree on everything, just agree on the progression of our people and how we can help us. Absolutely, I agree. Can I buy some land for investment opportunities if I have 15K saved up? Yes, you can. Go look into maybe a real estate investment program, or you look into FHA loans or something like that. It's not that hard to buy. It's not as hard to buy property as people think. Actually, this week, Tuesday, we're closing on a rental property in Chicago, and you'd be amazed. It's like sometimes the paperwork can be a little daunting, but like if you form a relationship with a bank, I think it's quicker. I think it's quicker that way because the bank can go get your information right out of your account as opposed to you using a lender that's outside of that scope. But I just think real estate's a great opportunity, and the thing is, you don't need as much money as you think. So what I would do is go try. Go try. Don't worry about your credit score not being high enough. Just go try. You'd be amazed at what you can do. Larry, what is the best way to use dividend stocks for reinvesting? I think you can specify that. I know in a lot of these accounts that you get, E-Trade, Ameritrade, stuff like that, you can just tell them you want to reinvest your dividends and they'll let you do that. Justin, have you heard of a REIT investing platform called Fundrise? If so, what's your thoughts on it? I have not heard of Fundrise, but it sounds interesting. I'm going to write that down because I want to look at it because I actually would like to invest in more real estate investment trusts. So I'm writing down Fundrise now because you just put me onto something. All right. And I do invest in Jay Morrison's Tulsa real estate fund also. I have I think I put $10,000 in there. The first year, there was not a gain on the fund. But with stuff like this, I think Jay was asking for 3 years to turn a profit and to see some growth. And I'll give him 3 years. But even if it doesn't grow, I'm not going to look at it as if, oh, he robbed me, he stole my money. The thing about investing, you got to understand, is that sometimes when investing, you just don't make money. Sometimes you make an investment, it doesn't work out. It's just like basketball. Sometimes you take a shot, it does not go in. That does not mean that you should stop shooting. That does not mean you're a bad basketball player. It just means you took a shot. That's what risk is. Risk means that, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. The thing I know about making money is you cannot make money without taking on a risk most of the time. There's very rarely such a thing as a risk-free investment that gives you a strong rate of return. It does not happen very often. So stop thinking that investing should be something where there is no risk. That's just not the way the world works. Okay. Let's see. Bitcoin. Lorendo says, Bitcoin, is this a good investment tool? What are the pros and cons? The pros of Bitcoin is that there is some evidence to say that there may be a lot of upside. There's a lot of evidence to say that Bitcoin might take off and really do well in the future because it has a lot of potential. The downside is that the market is very fuzzy. The information is not clear. It doesn't have a long track record you can lean on to tell you, what's going to happen with the future. So a lot of things are going to change, with crypto. And the reason if you want to know why I invest in crypto, I'm a very heavy crypto investor. I have a lot of investments in crypto. I bought some of them before the crash. I bought some of them during the crash. I bought some of them after the crash. And I plan to hold a lot of these investments for many, many years. And I invest not because I know for sure that crypto is going to do well. I invest in crypto because I believe it can do well. I believe that there could be a great future in crypto. And when that future occurs, I want to be there. Okay. So I do think if you want to invest in crypto, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think you should treat it like everything else. Make sure you diversify and don't sort of treat it like it's like it's some kind of like some kind of casino where if you pick the right cryptocurrency, you're going to make all this money. It doesn't work like that. You want to diversify. Salam, I've had rental properties in my mother's hometown for 29 years. For the last 20, have observed businesses by Black women being targeted for disruption or destruction. What type of protective steps should I take? I guess it depends on what type of destruction you're talking about. You're talking about something physical, like people breaking windows and things like that. I would imagine that you could talk to local authorities and talk to the police and say, what do we need to do? I've seen people form neighborhood watches and things like that, to defend the community. That's doable as well. But I would definitely want to know, from my city councilman and stuff like that, like what can be done, what options are out there, because I think that is a serious concern. Let's see, can you take your member-directed retirement plan funds and invest it in real estate tax-free? That I am not 100% sure, but I think that There, under certain circumstances, you can. I think it depends on your age and what the nature of the investment is. But you have to go talk to your accountant about that just to be sure, because I'm not a person that knows every single rule about every single investment. But I do think that there are ways you can do that depending on what it is. Like it's your first home, or you're going to live in the home or something like that. That's kind of those are the situations where they allow you to do that. All right, so let me see here. Vanessa, Dr. Boyce, do I ever have to sell the stock I purchased? And how long will it take me to turn a profit? I don't know how long it takes, and you don't have to sell. I most of my stocks I own, I don't plan to ever sell them. I plan to pass them on. I accumulate stocks so I can have financial security, right? So that means I got these stocks sitting there and they're growing, and it's part of my portfolio. And that means that as a black man in America, that I'm a little bit more protected against a rainy day than I would be if I own nothing, right? So stocks, in a way, are kind of like having apple trees in my backyard. So that if I ever get hungry and I want me an apple, I know I can go to the backyard and get me an apple, right? I'm never going to be hungry. I might say never, but the chances of being hungry if I got apple trees in my backyard are much lower than if I have no apple trees at all. And then if I get old and die, then I'm going to pass the apple trees on to my descendants so that they can have trees to eat off of when they get older too. I don't sell them all so that I have no trees to leave, because that would make me a terrible uncle, terrible father, whatever the case is. What do you think about HRIS, high risk stock bonds? I'm sorry, Larry Tate, I can't understand that question. It looks like you might have a typo in there. Daryl, my son just opened his first business last month. It's a retail sales business here in the state of California. He wants to know, is it better to hire employees now or wait until the business starts to make a profit? I would wait. I wouldn't hire anybody until you can sustain employees. Once people start working for you, they're going to depend on that money. And if you can't maintain that financial security for them, then they're going to get mad at you when you can't do it. They're going to look at you like you're supposed to be the person that's always got enough money to do whatever you want. And nobody's going to have any sympathy when you come back to them and tell them that you're not making a profit and you got to cut back. So before you make a commitment to somebody, make sure that you're sure that that's a person you want to make a commitment to, and make sure that you're sure that you can sustain that commitment. Black businesses have a harder time making long-term financial commitments because we don't have, billion-dollar bank loans that we can lean on to protect us in case things don't work out. So I'm very slow to make long-term permanent hires. I bring in contractors for temporary jobs. I try people out 3 months, then I try another 3 months, then I try another 3 months. And then after about a year or two, if I see what I see and it's good, then maybe I talk about keeping them in full-time or permanently, but I don't make long-term commitments to people I don't know. I don't make long-term commitments to situations that I'm not sure about, because you got to be really careful and you got to always stay flexible just in case things go bad. Because believe me, once you become the boss, your chances of becoming the devil go way up. I mean, meaning that you can do a million nice things for a million people, but that one person where you couldn't come through for them and you say, I'm sorry, I got to let you go, I wish I could do more, that person will be the first one to call you a son of a bitch, no matter how much work you've done for that person, no matter how hard you tried to help that person. So you got to be ready for that as the boss. So the best way to do that is to really manage expectations. I had a friend that started a business with just a few dollars, and he got the revenue up to $20 million a year. And he was hiring a lot of his friends from the hood and friends that relatives that didn't have much education. And what happened with him was when money started getting tight, and he started going back to those same people, asking them to do to take a pay cut, they were cussing him out. Like, they were really mad at him. They felt he had betrayed them by asking them to take a pay cut. And he was like, I don't have the money. Like, what am I supposed to do? And they were like, you got the money, you can afford to do it, blah, blah, blah. And so that's the way it is. It just comes with the territory. So just make sure you're ready for that. Because when people start seeing you as the boss, they don't see you as a person that has problems and struggles. They see you as a person that has an infinite supply of money. So let's see. If I'm 45 and need to invest and only have a small amount of money, what can I do to start? Acorn Stash and Robinhood, you can start those accounts for $5. Invest it. I know people that invest $5 a week. Invest the amount of money it costs to buy a Popeye's chicken sandwich. So if you can afford to go to Popeye's and buy a chicken sandwich, then you can afford to invest. No excuses. Let's do it. Come on, you can do it. Let's see. What percentage of your annual income would you suggest starting out in investing? It depends. I mean, whatever, the higher the number, the better off you are. Just make sure that if you buy stocks, that you're not investing money in the stock market that you're going to need in the near future, because that can throw off your finances if you do that. Let's see, Quentin, I'm doing Lyft part-time and self-employed personal training part-time, along with some other gigs, making 30K. Good for you. I have my BS. I spent 94,000 on. Woof. Should I go back and get an AS as a physical therapy assistant, or should I hustle for more clients? I want to get married to my fiance next year and make more money for my family. Well, Quentin, first of all, I applaud you but being a black man with a plan. That right there increases your chances of success by about 90%, right? Because success does not happen by accident, right? So the fact that you're thinking things through, you're making a plan, means you're going to be okay. So whatever you're going through, whatever challenges you're having, whatever fears and concerns you have, let some of that go, because you're going to be all right. Just keep moving forward, keep doing what you're doing. Now, here's the thing. If you're talking about making one move or the other, both moves can be good. Both moves can be good. Just make sure that it's the move that works for you. Do you want to be a physical therapy assistant? Is that something that you would enjoy? Are there jobs available, and are these jobs that you would enjoy having? If the answer is no, then I would hustle to get more clients. That way, because the good thing about knowing how to run your own business, which is I love the most, is that you can shape your day into whatever you want it to be. Like like being the boss means if I decide that there's something I have to do every day that I don't want to do, I go hire somebody else to do it, and then I go do something else, right? Or if I don't like the business I'm in, I just go invest money and get into another line of business. I start doing something different, right? So I think that flexibility is so much fun, and I think I guess everybody isn't going to love it. Maybe some people want to be told what to do, but I'm not one of them. I don't enjoy being told what to do. Let's see here. So good luck with your marriage. Congratulations to you. Go read a book. Make sure you read a book on how to stay married. Like everything that you need to know is in a book somewhere. Make sure you learn from experts that can teach you tips that are going to help you be successful, because marriage is one of the biggest investments that you make in life. It's the biggest investment you'll ever make, financially and otherwise. Justin, what did you take on crowdfunding investing versus stock investing? Are you talking about, okay, crowdfunding investing? You mean raising money through crowdfunds? Or investing in crowdfund investing? I don't know how to compare those two exactly based on the questioning and ways laid out. I would say, I guess, if you're talking about investing in crowdfunded platforms, equity-based crowdfunding, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They're just different. I don't know if one's always better than the other. Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on what you enjoy. I think crowdfund investing is cool, where you buy equity in these new ideas. In fact, that makes me think I actually want to look some of that up, and maybe I'll put some money in some of that stuff. But stock investing is cool because you're talking about stable companies that have been carefully vetted by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So that's probably a little bit safer. It's a little bit better market, definitely a little more liquid. Liquid meaning that you can get your money out faster. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind. Elaine, how can you get money for real estate to get rental property? Well, you don't have to put up as much money as you might think, but you may want to pull together with a group of people. Those of you who are thinking about flying to New York for our investment seminar, one of the benefits of coming to our investment seminars is that the people that we bring together are people who are ready to invest. So these can become great people you can work with that will invest in your business. If you have an idea that is already making money and you need extra capital, smart people will be happy to provide the capital that you need to grow. Because smart people, are sort of sitting on money, and they're like, I need somewhere to put this money so I can turn it into more money. So if you present them something, when you say, look, hey, I put in this much and I made that much, then they're going to be like, okay, great, let's scale. How much can I put in? How can I help you? Right. So basically with these seminars, which you're doing, the next one in New York is drboycenewyork.com. One of my main objectives is not just to teach and to guide, but to build an economy right there in that room, to build wealth right there in that room, to build businesses right there in that room, to form partnerships right there in that room, to form networks right there in that room. So that when you walk away, you won't just be smarter. Anybody, you can go to a university and give them $100,000 for a 4-year degree, and they can make you smarter, right? We're cheaper than that, much less expensive than that, but that's not the magic bullet to me. The magic bullet for teaching finance for Black people is, how do I help you actually make more money? Like, how can I guarantee that when you get done, you're not going to look back and say, oh my God, I had a great time and I really like doing this for Boyce. Forget Boyce. I want you to walk away saying, I had a great time, I learned a lot, and I really did well for myself, because now I have 5 or 6 partnerships that have improved what I'm trying to do. I have experts in my corner who can teach me things. I have people that will go to war with me and actually put their money where their mouth is. I've connected with serious Black people who aren't just talking about what they're going to do, they're following through, because you can't be in that room for free. There is a fee, there is an investment you must make to be in that room. It ain't that much compared to other seminars, but I set it that way because I don't want everybody in the room who's just going to waste people's time. I want people in that room who have gotten to a level where they've proven that they value this, right? Because really, seriously, like for the lowest pass we have doesn't cost more than Beyonce tickets were at her last concert. But I know a lot of people who will spend money going to a Beyonce concert, but won't spend that same amount going to an investment seminar, those are not people that I want to work with. I'll work with them, on YouTube, or talk to them, for free on the Black Business School every now and then. But those are not the people that I want in a room full of investors, because I want people that are ready to build, that are ready to either bring together capital, networks, expertise, or a customer base that allows everybody to get something done. And I can show you exactly how to build an economy right there in your family, so that you don't actually have to really go outside of that to make anything happen. Like in our family right now, what I love is that we have an economy in our family. We basically know how to get capital from each other. We know it so we can invest in one another. We know how to get customer bases from each other. We lend each other labor all the time. And it's beautiful. Like, it's great. It's like we don't even have to talk to anybody else if we don't want to. Okay, so that's the goal. That's the line of thinking. So if you want to come out, feel free, go to drboycenewyork.com. In fact, for those of you that that want, because you're here, if you want a special discount code, you can use the code word New York, the whole word New York, one word, not two. There's a few more slots at this discount rate. Feel free to use the code word New York when they ask for your promo code, and you can get 50% off every single package. Every package will be automatically 50% off if you use the code word New York when you go to drboycenewyork.com. It's October 27th. You're going to love it. I guarantee it. And if you don't love it, just tell us and we're happy to give you your money back. All right. So anyway, let me keep going. Grace, I'm in the process of opening a factory on organic baby food in Africa. That's so cool. But I can't decide on location due to various issues in different countries. How do I choose the right location? Well, if you're going to go to any country, find people you trust in that country that can make sure that you don't get ripped off. I think there are opportunities in a lot of countries. I can't tell you exactly which ones because I'm still learning about Africa. When I went to FraserNet, which that's an example when you talk about going to a space where you can network and make great contacts. I spent some money going to the George Fraser conference, FraserNet, and the amount of opportunity and money and partnerships I got from that visit was about 100 times worth 100 times more than what I paid for that ticket. Like, I would pay for that ticket 50 times over just for that one experience in terms of the people that I connected with. You've seen some of these people, like billionaire Mike Roberts, Dr. My brother who was on The Apprentice, Dr. Randall Pinkett Jr., Dr. George Fraser, some other people, right? So ultimately, I think those networks are extremely important. And so one of the things that the FraserNet conference is pursuing right now is going to Africa and really developing trade relationships between African Americans and various countries on the African continent. So I would definitely get with some people who know their way around and make absolutely 100% sure you can trust them. Do not just sort of feel your way around, do trial and error, because that's not going to work out so well for you. Or it can go badly. And I see Shimon is asking, Grace, which countries are you looking into? So maybe Shimon knows more than I do. So please feel free to share this information. I would love to have you guys talk to each other. All right, so let's see here. Moses says, I have 2 policies. Good for you, 2 life insurance policies. If you want to know where I get my life insurance, I go to theblackinsurancenetwork.com, THE, that's theblackinsurancenetwork.com. Theblackinsurancenetwork.com, not life insurance, theblackinsurancenetwork.com. They can get you all kinds of insurance. There's a lady there named Yolanda, so tell her that I sent you, and that way I can put you in her face and be like, oh, I sent a lot of my friends to you. You better take good care of them. So feel free to reach out to theblackinsurancenetwork.com. How can you have a family business if your family can't get along? It's very tough to do. The next book I'm working on is a book on codes of conduct and standards and procedures you got to put in place to get your family members on code. If you got relatives that'll steal from you, lie to you, not follow through with you, then it's very difficult to form any sort of economic system with them. Most economic systems are based on trust. A lot of Black people can't trust each other because we've traumatized each other, because we've been traumatized by white supremacy. So ultimately, if you have relatives that are going to continuously re-traumatize you, you may have to minimize your business relationships with those individuals until you feel that they're prepared to understand what the code of conduct is. So anytime I have anybody who comes along in my family that wants to work with me, and it happens because I'm a magnet for relatives who need money. I just tell them, I'm like, these are the codes, these are the standards. If you can't follow the codes, then you don't need to be here. By the way, most of the questions I'm going to answer today are in the Zoom chat. If you're on Instagram or on YouTube, I won't see your questions because there's literally 15 more questions right here. I want to try to get to as many as possible. If you want to be in the Zoom chat next time where I'll see your question, go get at least a free membership in the Black Business School. Go to theblackbusinessschool.com. This is for the students, but I let other people listen in so you can see how great this is and how much we know. And maybe you'll come and give us a try because we know we can help you. And in fact, our programs, the investment is minimal compared to what you probably spent going to college. And also we have, unlike your university, we have a money back guarantee. So there's no risk to you whatsoever. If you're not happy for any reason, we always will give you your money back because we do not want people run around thinking that we're just in this for some sort of money grab. But we do want you to support what you're doing because this is a university that's built for you, by you. So we're asking you guys to consider supporting us the way you might have supported the University of Montana or wherever you might have went to college. Elaine Cargo, yes, I do, but it's not enough. You need to pay off the mortgages and burial expenses. Don't make them start ground zero. Oh, so my insurance, I agree 100%. I'm interested in diverse portfolio with real estate and stocks. Can you help me? Yeah, there are codes in there where you can get 40% off our real estate program or all of our other programs. If you go to theblackbusinessschool.com, you talk to Jessica or Chanel. I think Brian might be in there. They can just tell them to give you 40% off and just tell them I sent you and they'll do it for you. Our real estate program is really good. It's taught by Julian Gordon, who is a real estate expert who graduated from Stanford University, who controls about $3.3 million in property. And basically he teaches you how to get multifamily properties, no matter what your credit score is, no matter what your income is. He can help you figure out your pathway to get there. So feel free to go check that out, theblackbusinessschool.com. Maurice Williams, I have been investing after listening to you, Dr. Boyce, for 5 to 6 months, but I'm not seeing any gains. I invest at least $500 a month. That's okay, Maurice. Here's where you gained. Maurice, let me tell you how you gained. Let me ask you a question, Maurice. You don't have to answer it. I want you to answer it in your mind. That $500, if you hadn't invested that money, what would you have done with it? What would you have done with it? At best, you would have put it in a savings account, which you know isn't going to make you any more money, and money erodes in value over time because of inflation. Chances are, if you hadn't invested that money, you probably would have spent it. That's what most people do with our money. That's why people live paycheck to paycheck. So let's say that you invest for the next 5 years and something unbelievable happens. Let's say, Maurice, that you invest for 5 years, $500 a month, $6,000 a year, $30,000. And let's say that the impossible happens. Something that's never happened in the history of the stock market that I know of. You don't make any gains whatsoever. Like you literally just, your 30,000 is nothing but 30,000. Or let's say it drops to 28,000. So after 5 years, you put in 30,000, you got 28,000 because something unbelievable has occurred where your money did not grow at all, which again, that has rarely happened throughout the history of the entire stock market. But let's say that it did happen. Remember though, if you hadn't invested that money, you would have spent it. You wouldn't have any money to show for it, but at least now you've got $30,000 or $28,000 to show for the $30,000 that you had, right? Imagine if you could go back the last 10 years and just collect 60% of all the money you blew in the last decade. I want you guys to guess in the chat. How much money do you think you'd have in your account right now if you could build a time machine and go back and collect just 60% of all the money that you've spent in the last decade? How much money do you think you'd have? How much? Think about it. I mean, imagine, like, just allow yourself, like, openly. I see Frederick roll, ooh wee, right? And I see Mia Fiatis is like, ooh, right? That would be a lot of money, right? Like, think about that, right? If you make, 50 grand a year and you were spending, let's say the IRS is taking 20 of that, right? So you got 30,000 a year and you blew all of it and you had 60% of that, 18,000 a year for a decade is $180,000. Like, you would have lots of money, right? You would have a ton of money, but this money could have been put in failed investments. It could have been put in investments that literally lost 40% of their value, but you're still better off than most people because most people don't even do that. Most people spend their money and end up broke. Most people blow it all. They blow the whole bag and have nothing. At least you would have something. And that's the key idea. The first step in investing is not to go invest your money so you can get rich. The first step is to stop the bleeding so you don't get broke, right? The first step is to plug the leak, not to fill the bucket. It's to plug the leak in so that you don't end up making yourself broke by doing what everybody else is doing. Because most people I know they blow every penny and they can't stop working because they have nothing to show for all the money they've made over the last 5 or 10 years. At least you'd have something to show for it. So don't worry about making a whole lot of money really fast. It's about changing the culture in your household, changing your habits, so you end up in a better position than you were in before. Um, Jessica and Chanel, if you could share those links again to the discounts for your programs for the entrepreneurship program, and also for the stock market investing class, the 40% off discount. Somebody just asked for it, so I want to make sure that they get it. And also, if you go to theblackbusinessschool.com and you talk to them, just tell them I said give you 40% off whatever programs you want to sign up for. I don't care. I just want you guys to have a reason to want to join. How many different stock types would constitute a diverse portfolio? That's a great question. The theory says about 22 or 23 different stocks, typically on average, leads to a fully diversified portfolio. How many children do you plan to train in the Black Business School? How many enrolled so far? I think we've gotten up to almost 10,000. I want to train 1 million. Like I want to train the whole generation. I want every Black child on the planet to have an opportunity to understand the basics of wealth building. I want that to be a bigger fad than hip hop music. And I think that it's not that hard of a sell to convince people to understand that money is important. So that's the goal, right? So my goal is to take over the world. It's world domination or bust. That's where we're headed. We're not playing. We're not trying to sort of politely do this. We're trying to be very aggressive and very innovative and extremely radical in the way we approach all of this. So that's where we stand. That's what we are. That's what we do. And we're not apologizing for any of that. Let's see. Next question. The program's at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com if you'd like your child to be enrolled. Is the 103 the same class Nicole offered during the A, B, and C? Says Valerie. Yes, probably. It might be. I'm not sure. I know Nicole has another platform as well, so you could try that as well. And also Danielle Pierce, who was at the A, B, and C, has a platform called Economic Elevation. Danielle Pierce is a real estate expert. She's a very good teacher, a very nice lady. So you may want to check out her platform at economicelevation.com. Let's see, Valerie. Dr. Watkins, how are you tracking your investments? I have all the different apps, and I just look at the apps, and it shows me what I have and stuff like that. And I have financial planners as well. What percentage should you invest in 401k and stocks? What percentage of your income? It depends on your personal preference. A lot of people say you should max out your 401k plan if you can. That gives you max bang for your buck. And also it's tax deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes until you retire. Tax deferred is not tax free, right? So don't forget that. Just like a tax write-off is not a tax credit, right? Tax write-off means you still pay. You just you pay less, right? Shimon, what should a financial profile look like to invest in commercial properties, 2-year tax returns, minimum yearly wage? It depends. It really depends. I would go and speak to real estate. If you're serious about getting into commercial property, go to theblackrealestategroup.com. theblackreigroup.com, theblackreigroup.com. That's where Julian Gordon teaches real estate, and he can break all that down for you in terms of how he does his properties and stuff like that. theblackreigroup.com. Salon Properties. Town officials target Black women owned businesses. You shut them down. That is true. I agree. Anonymous says, I invested in a company going public soon. What do I need to do to prepare? Can I sell right after they go public? You probably can. I don't see why not, but you may have to check your investment to see what the rules are. Sometimes they may not let you do that, but I don't see why they wouldn't let you do that. I can think of anything you want to do. I mean, maybe do your research, find out what the company is all about, stuff like that. Let's see here. Horace Curley, is there any benefits to hiring a CPA to help guide you on how much of your money you should or shouldn't be spending? Yeah, I think CPAs are good, especially if you're dealing with a lot of money because you got tax implications and stuff like that you got to think about. Najee Baxter says, hey, Dr. B, is Stash or Acorns a good investment engine for beginners? Yes, they both are. I use them both. I also use Robinhood, and I love them all. How do you go about gaining more clients? There's a lot of different ways. Best way, I believe, is to go learn from somebody who knows how to do what you're trying to do. I'm a big believer in taking classes from people that know what they're doing. People that really know how to do it are not going to do it they're not going to teach you for free usually. Like even with me teaching you as a PhD and teaching you guys for free the way we are right now, that's very rare. I only do it because I want to make sure people know that we're not in it just for the money. But very few people who have the experience that I have are going to sit here and just talk for free most of the time. And it's okay. You can't blame them. They worked hard for their skill set. they got things to do. They have money they should be making. So the best way to respect their time, I believe, is to pay for that time. And and then if you pay for their time, you'd be amazed. Like, like I talked to a guy one time. My private consultations, one-on-ones are very expensive. It's about, I think, $1,000 an hour to talk to me one-on-one and get a private consultation. So this guy gets a private consultation with me, and the reason I charge the price is because I really don't want to talk on the phone. I don't like to talk on the phone. Honestly, it's because I have so many things I got to do. But this guy calls me, right, and he wants to do a one-on-one consultation. And here's what happened. He spent $700,000 on a house, or not on a house. It was like on some property. And this was most of his life savings. He had like a 1.2 million or something, and he put 700,000 of the 1.2 million on this property. And it was a very bad deal. And he couldn't get out of the deal. It was a big mess. He was very stressed out about it. And I sat there, and he was like, so what do I do? What do I do? And I said, well, I think you need to take the rest of your money, figure out how to build a time machine and go back in time 6 months and do a consultation with me 6 months ago. Because right now you're in a situation that's going to cost you a couple $100,000. And you could have avoided that by spending $1,000 6 months ago, and really, if I'm going to make a $700,000 investment, and it's my first time in real estate, my first time making that kind of investment, there is no way I'm going to go about doing that blind. I'm going to go find somebody who knows where all the traps are, where all the problems are, and I'm going to pay them for their time. And chances are they might charge you a couple $100 an hour or something like that. Not too much for somebody who's about to make a big move. And they will save you so much money. So when I want to learn how to go into a new business, I look for people that know that business, and I pay them money so that I can learn from their mistakes. I'm paying for the mistakes that they've already paid for. The 10 years it took them to figure something out, I'll pay you money so I can learn it in one conversation instead of waiting a decade of my life because I'm trying to do everything by myself. When it comes to big investments and big moves in your life, don't waste your time and sit around and do for self on every single issue. Meaning, do for self is fine, but I'm talking about like figuring it all out by yourself all the time. You're going to pay a huge cost, a massive cost in terms of lost opportunity, mistakes, and everything else. And so there are a lot of people that you can pay a little bit of money to right now who will help you avoid those mistakes so you can be successful in year 2 as opposed to year 22. Okay. Grace, thank you for answering. I was thinking about Mozambique or Tanzania for the person who asked. Okay, well, y'all see it. So hit Grace up and give her whatever advice you guys have. There are probably some people in here that are from Africa or have extensive experience there. So I hope that you'll send Grace a little message. Salam, not much of a spender. Good for you. Vanessa Jones, I see 520,200. I don't know what that means, but I wish I could see the question too. I apologize. Tammy, I'm 52 and I work a job and I'm an independent licensed health insurance agent. I want to invest and continue to generate good income, but my concern is taxes. Do you cover how to best handle taxes while running a business and investing? We do have a person that does tax related stuff in the Black Business School. There's a CPA, Jessica Smith, who had a class more so in retirement. And I think she answered some tax questions. But right now, we don't really have a tax specialist that's in there. We're going to probably look for one at some point. But right now, I would probably say that there are probably better places to really learn about taxes than us right now. Okay. But taxes are very important. Don't ignore, sorry, my foot. God, you guys got to forgive me. I literally, since I've been running and training for this marathon with Alicia, I have gotten these crazy foot cramps. Does anybody know how to deal with foot cramps? Because my foot is killing me. Ow, God, ow, God. Sorry, guys. Y'all know I keep it real. My foot just cramped. Oh, has your foot ever cramped so bad that you're just like, ow, how do I make it go away? Okay, sorry, give me a second, guys. Okay, all right. I think these are old man problems. So you know what? I think I'm gonna hang up because my foot is killing me. Okay, roll on a tennis ball, hydrate more. Okay. And you guys know we're getting, this is so funny. I literally could not talk because my foot was hurting so bad. Well, I keep big bottles of water like this right next to me, and I drink water constantly. And but woo, that hurt. We're training for a marathon, our first marathon on Sunday. And actually, just to be funny, or to make, maybe this will make you guys laugh a little bit, I found this old picture of myself from a couple years ago where let me see if I can show you. If you're on YouTube, if you're on drboycetv.com, you can see this. So let me actually share my screen and I'll let you guys see this picture. It's really interesting. It was very, I reflected a lot. So if you look at this picture, you can even see, it even looks like my face. Let me see if I can turn this camera around for you guys so you can see it. It looks like my face literally lost, you know, like 50 pounds. So hold on, look at this. You see that? That's when I did the thing with Farrakhan, I think back in 2014. And you can see even my face looks smaller than it did back then. So all this running has really paid off, but the downside is that weird little things happen, like your, you know, like your foot cramps for no reason. Now let's see. Somebody said that the code for the New York event, that the word New York did not work for you. So let me see here. Let me go in here and click to buy tickets. And actually, maybe I'll share my screen in a second. Let me try this. So this is for the New York event on October 27th. So if you enter your promo code and you put in the word New York, it should cut the price in half. Yeah, it works. It works. So let me show you guys. I'll show you. If you want to fly to New York, I believe me, it's really worth it. But if you go to drboycenewyork.com and then you click on tickets, you can buy your tickets up here in this corner, and you put and right here where it says enter promo code, you can put in the promo code, right? So I type in New York as one word, not two words, one word, not two words, and hit apply. And we see apply, you see all the ticket prices get cut in half automatically, right? So you can get a pretty good discount. There aren't many slots available at that discounted price, but because you guys came in, that's something, you know, I'm offering you guys right here. So feel free to go to drboycenewyork.com, and I'll leave the code open for another day or so. So feel free to go check it out. I think you guys will love it. I guarantee you'll benefit from it because it's amazing to be in a room with Black people that are serious and ready to make moves and invest and things like that. Okay, guys. So I am done. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this benefited you, and this is a great conversation for you. I know I enjoyed it. I enjoyed answering your questions. Just a reminder, if you go to theblackbusinessschool.com right now and you talk to Chanel or Jessica or Brian, just tell them I said to give you the 40% discount on whatever program you want. And because they were in this chat, they know pretty much what I told you guys. We have our Black Business School for Children there as well. You can ask them about that. And also, if you want to check out our financial flashcards and workbooks for Black children, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. And also, we have books that I've written, like Black American Money and The New Black Power and things like that. So feel free to go check out the books at drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. So we got a lot of cool stuff, and I hope you guys will take a look, and I hope that you benefit from it. And also the website is Dr. Boyce New York. The whole word New York is spelled out, so it's not NY, it's the whole word New York. All right, everybody, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.